It's a major step by the SADC region. Companies have been counting their losses after investing in research. Now that investment could just be safe, the organization's intellectual property rights protection is perhaps what could uplift economies in the different SADC nations.
We signed memorandum of understanding or memorandum of agreement to define the areas of collaboration or cooperation. So it guides us on the activities that we are supposed to undertake.
A number of organizations in the innovation sector collapsed due to lack of such protection, and such a scenario means investors cannot pour in new capital as there are no guaranteed returns.
Now, many a times citizens, businesses, governments do not have the skill or the wherewithal first to develop and to protect these. This is where ARIPO comes in, because they've got extensive expertise in developing this and also in capacitating to make sure that we are able to have those rights. Now, when they do have the rights, not only can they protect them, they can actually use them to trade and to grow their business and expand them beyond.
This memorandum of understanding will pave way for smooth operations across the borders while addressing issues that affect traders. The intellectual property rights will reduce the chance of imitations, while innovations will stimulate growth.
But today we are signing a memorandum of understanding which demonstrates the significance of our mutual understanding and commitment to promotion of innovation, promotion of creativity, economic development, and indeed transforming people's lives.
The rationale behind signing the MOU is to improve shared innovation capabilities and protect intellectual property and capital across the SADC region. This will ensure competitiveness and boost industrialization. For ZTM Prime, I am Sitachi Siwagwaza.
We now cross over to Eben Mabunda to give us more on the issue of intellectual property rights as well as other issues. Good evening, Eben. Tell us, how important are intellectual property rights in the context of the region's industrialization agenda?
Well, good evening. Thank you very much. And of course, these then become very important in the context of safeguarding intellectual property. Intellectual property, of course, referring to inventions and innovations, upgrades to existing products, and so forth and so on. And so you'd find that there are a lot of innovations that are taking place on the continent as well as beyond. And there has been cases of intellectual property theft over the years, court cases after court cases across the region, and so even though the region is to be able to advance and move forward, it's important that innovators, most of them young innovators that are on the continent, get to receive the much needed assistance so that they are able to keep the process of development of some of these innovations on the continent going forward and significantly contributing toward the SADC industrialization agenda.
As a follow-up to that, Eben, how important is it for the region to safeguard intellectual property rights in the face of the fourth industrial revolution?
Right. When you look at ARIPO, it has over 22 member states on the continent, most of which are English-speaking African countries, to put it across that way. And you've got a significant number of that coming from the SADC region. Now, given the SADC industrialization agenda, right now we are speaking of the fourth industrial revolution, which is where AI, robotics, cloud computing, 3D printing also takes a center stage among several other fourth industrial revolution technologies. And so against that backdrop, it becomes important to see to it that different concepts, different ideas are safeguarded so that innovators are not exploited in the process. So as industrialization is right at the fore of the SADC industrialization agenda, it then becomes important that there is an end-to-end protection for innovators. Most of them are young innovators that are getting churned from the continent of Africa.
Lastly, what has been the general message from some of the delegates that you've met?
Well, 16 African countries have participated in the SADC Industrialization Week, and we have been speaking to captains of industry from different quarters of SADC. Earlier on in the day, we had engagement with a delegation from Mauritius. We also had the opportunity of engaging with business leaders from Botswana, from Tanzania, and several countries, of course, within the SADC region. Of note is that unison, as well as that single message to say how can there be collaboration, how can there be coordination, especially in light of the African Continental Free Trade Area. How can there be skills transfer in terms of technologies, cooperation, especially from a tourism perspective, how it is that there can be value addition. And just to underscore one of the key points alluded to by some of the members from the Botswana delegation, that much as they have been involved in the production of diamond, they have been seeking to see how they can expand into diamond polishing as well as cutting, just as an illustration. And so there is that coordinated message to say, let's collaborate, let's beneficiate as a continent, and let's enhance skills transfer. Let's get rid of some of the visa restrictions that have become an impediment to regional development.
Konapo, Ipapo pa ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.